Hi guys, welcome back to my channel Mahaguru Yash Architecture Classes, and right now we are preparing for our GATE 2020 architecture exam, and for that we are solving our previous year's question papers, and right now we are in the second part for the GATE 2015 paper. So I'll be really sorry due to these Navratri, all the pujas are going on and you will be hearing a lot of background noise, but still we will try to study. As I say, I won't be discussing any general aptitude questions, and I'll be linking down all the material which I share in the description box below. If you've got any doubt, please write it up to my email or we can discuss in the comment box below. So in the last part, we have completed till question number 29, and from this point we'll start with question 30. The question says, invert level of a pipe at a given cross sections refers to highest point of the internal surface, lowest point of the internal surface, highest point of the external surface, or the lowest point of the external surface. So the correct answer is basically invert level is the lowest point of the internal surface. I'll show you. So if this is the cross sectional area of a pipe, the internal lowest point is known as the invert, and the topmost invert point is known as the obvert. The external topmost point is known as the crown. Okay. The next question is, the command D view in AutoCAD permits to view what? So basically it generates a perspective view of the given drawing. The next question is, match the following land uses with their color coordination as per practice in India. So this is a question which has been repeatedly asked, and you have to keep in mind one thing, that the question doesn't specify according to NBC or the URDPFI guidelines. So mostly we follow URDPFI guidelines, but in some cases they might ask for a particular from the particular guidelines. So as per URDPFI, residential is marked by yellow, commercial by blue, industrial by violet, public and semi-public is by red, and transportation is with grey. This is as per URDPFI. But when we talk about NBC, there is a very slight change, that commercial becomes red in NBC and public semi-public becomes another color. So there are some minute changes which happen from one guidelines to the guidelines, but in most cases you should follow, if you are a planner, you should follow the guidelines which is being followed by your state or your city. As like in Delhi you have your DTA guidelines. So either you go for if you're a planner, you are taking part in some action plan, so you should go for the guidelines which are being used in your authority. The next question is, a rectangular beam section of size 300 mm by 500 mm is loaded with a shear force of 600 Newton. The maximum shear force on the section is. So it is a very direct question. For a rectangular beam, the maximum shear force is thrice the force divided by twice its length into breadth. So if we found it, we solve it as thrice 3 into it has a shear force, so it's not a force, it's shear force, thrice into 600 kilonewton. Okay, so once again I tell you that please look into the units carefully, because if you're solving in the correct procedure, if your units are not matching, the answer would be taken as wrong. So 3 into 600 kilonewton. So 600 is 600 into 10 to the power 3 divided by 2 into, so it's Newton per millimeter, so millimeter need not to be changed. So 2 into length is 500 into breadth is 300. So we get an answer of just a second. 6 Newton per millimeter square. Okay, even if you know the formula and if you do not answer in the right units, you will be marked, you will be negatively marked. The next question is, in a 50-meter section of a wastewater pipe, if the gradient is 1 in 80, then the fall in millimeter is. So the gradient is 1:80, that is 1 meter drop for an 80 meters. So we can solve it like this. So you can imagine as a triangle. So for 1 meter, you go 80 meters down. The question says, in a 50-meter pipe, how much does it fall? So let this length be 50 meter. So its drop would be this height, x, right? यदि 80 मीटर में वो 1 मीटर गिर रहा है, so यदि 50 मीटर से 50 मीटर पे कितना गिरेगा? 50 मीटर पे इतना कुछ गिरेगा. So so you have to find the fall x. So using similarity of a triangle, your bigger triangle would be similar to your smaller triangle. So 1 by 80 would be equal to x by okay, so x becomes 1 by 80 into 30, which makes it x is equal to 3 by 8. But see, ये जो x है, it is just the drop for this part. You have to find this is the actual drop, right? Actually drop इतना हुआ है, तो this drop would be equal to 1 minus 3 by 8, which is equal to 5 by 8 or 0.625. The next question says, a 15-meter long and a 3-meter wide driveway needs to be paved with 300 mm by 300 mm square tiles. If one packet of square tile contains 30 numbers, how many packets are required? So first let us see what is the area of the driveway. Area of driveway becomes 15 into 10 to the power 3 into 3 into 10 to the power 3, because you have to take in consideration your units. It's meter and here it's mm, so it's better we convert it into mm. So it becomes 45 into 10 to the power 6. So one tile area is equal to 300 into 300 is equal to 9 into 10 to the power 4. Therefore your number of tiles required would be your area divided by total area divided by area of one tile. It becomes 45 into 10 to the power 6 upon 9 into 10 to the power 4. 5s and 2s, it becomes 500 tiles. And it says that if one packet contains 30 number of tiles, how many packets would be required? So number of packets would be equal to 500 by 30, which is approximately 17 packets. So you can see there are some easy questions and some difficult questions as well. The next question is, and again it's match the following question. So you have to match these monuments with their typical features. So I have some photographs of them and their typical features have been also been written down. So Panch Mahal is in Fatehpur Sikri, which is made up of intricate red stone carvings. It is a 5-floored Queen's Mahal. The next is Meenakshi Temple in Madurai, made up of painted stone figures. You can see those very colorful gopurams. The next is Jor Bangla in Bishnupur, and Bishnupur is basically very famous for its terracotta carvings and terracotta structures. The last is Sun Temple in Konark, very famous for its Khondaline stonework. You're using the stone Khondaline. Let us move on to the next question. So again you have, in the next question, again you have a list of some monuments, and there we have to guess its style. So your first monument is Pisa Cathedral in Italy. So Pisa Cathedral in Italy belongs to the Italian Romanesque architecture. So basically Romanesque architecture combined the ancient Roman and Byzantine with some local tradition. That is why you have Spanish Romanesque, French Romanesque and Italian Romanesque, because you combine the Roman and Byzantine buildings features with some local tradition. That is why Romanesque has 3 styles. So it is also famous for its massive quality, thick walls, round arches, sturdy pillars, barrel walls and large towers, and the decorative arcades. For more information, please refer to my notes. The next question is Saint Hagia Sophia in Istanbul. So Saint Hagia Sophia in Istanbul is from the Byzantine is of Byzantine form or the Byzantine architecture. So Byzantine was again famous for its different kind of squinches, pendentives and its domes. So you have an onion shaped dome coming in, different kinds of styles also coming in. Please refer to my notes for detailed references. The next is Great Temple of Amman in Karnak. So the Great Temple of Amman in Karnak is from Egyptian architecture. Other buildings which are famous from Egyptian are like your Great Pyramids of Giza and Abu Simbel and etc. And the last is the Cathedral of Notre Dame in Paris. So Notre Dame in Paris was in news this year because it was burned down because of some restoration when some restoration work was going on. So Notre Dame Cathedral in Paris is famous for its is from the Gothic period, or it's in Gothic building. So Gothic architecture basically has prominent features like rib walls, flying buttresses, gargoyles, your rosette windows and everything. And the last, so you only 4 monuments were given, but one more style was left, which was the Moorish architecture. And for Moorish architecture, the very famous Alhambra Palace is famous for it. And Moorish architecture is a bit it has its influence from Islamic architecture, and it is very famous for its makranas, horseshoe arches, voussoirs, domes and corner arches as well. So basically OG arches, like these arches, very famous. The next question, again you have a list of buildings and you have to match them with the styles of architecture. So you said when you see this was this question from this was from the ancient style, and this question is from the modern and the postmodern style. The first we have the Rashtrapati Bhavan in the neoclassical form or the Indo-Saracenic form. It is both neoclassical because we are trying to revive your olden classical orders in the new phase, and also it's Indo-Saracenic as well if you look on to your postmodern styles. The next is German Pavilion. So German Pavilion was by Mies van der Rohe. Typical international style. We can have flat minimalism, boxy structure, flat plains. The next is Guggenheim Museum Bilbao by Frank O'Gary. Frank O'Gary is like very famous for its deconstructivist styles. Other similar building of Frank Gehry is the Dancing Tower in Prague or the Walt Disney Auditorium, very similar to Guggenheim Museum. And the last is Crystal Palace by Joseph Paxton during the industrial era. That is why it is also known as the industrial architecture. It was a time when industrialization was in its peak, and the architects started using the new materials like steel and glass. The next question is, some terms have been given and you have to match these terms with their definitions. So I'll directly tell you those terms and with their definitions. The term is kinesthesia. So kinesthesia is the ability to sense motion of a joint or a limb. This sense is primarily influenced by muscle spindles. The next is anthropometry, like very easy. So anthropometry basically refers to the measurement of an human individual. So you try to link the human anatomy with your measurements of a body. Next is ergonomics, which is the scientific discipline concerned with the understanding of interactions among humans and the elements of a system. The last is biomimicry, which is an approach to innovation that seeks sustainable solution to human challenges. So let us see from this side. So kinesthesia is basically the study of human sensory experiences. Anthropometry is the measure and the study of size and proportions of a human body. Ergonomics was the study of man and machine interaction, and biomimicry was basically your imitation of model systems from the elements of nature. So biomimicry in itself has bio and mimicry. So you're trying to mimic the biology. So the last question for today is question 40. So you must have realized that this part was totally focusing much on the historical part. So you can see history is a very important part in GATE. So some urban spaces have the photographs from some urban spaces have been given, and you have to match them with their names. If you look at it, this thing, that is your fifth one. Sorry, the S1 is your famous St. Peter's Square in Rome. Okay. Even if you see, as an architecture student, you should know St. Peter's Square. The next is Trafalgar Square in London. So Q is 3. This is your Pizzale del Campo in Siena. And if you look at this, you will be confused that is it Agora or Rome. So but it is Rome. Okay. So even if not mugging up your question or mugging up is not a way to crack GATE. You should know things throughout your 5-year course. So guys, this is it for today's video. We'll be back with the next part. If you've got any doubt, please write up to my email, or we can discuss in the comment box below. I'll be linking down all the materials and the question paper in the description box below. Please do like, comment and subscribe to my channel, and this is it for today. Thank you. Bye.